there is no relationship in the world that can make you happy. Full stop. We've all been there. You break up, or worse, you get broken up with. And it's the heat of the moment, tempers are flying high, raw honesty gets expressed. Things are said that you've been wanting to say for a while. Maybe your feelings got hurt. And then somebody says it. This isn't working. We've tried, but I'm done. I think we should break up. And then after some time passes, what happens? If you're an aware, spiritually minded person, which I'm assuming at the very least you aspire to be if you're watching this video, you start reflecting. You start wondering, did I overreact? Did they overreact? Was it just a big misunderstanding? Are you actually meant to be together? And maybe you're still thinking about them when your head hits the pillow at night and when you wake up first thing in the morning. Maybe you're even dreaming about them. Maybe this is a sign, you start thinking. Maybe they're dreaming about me too, right? It's all very confusing. And then you start thinking, maybe I should text them. Maybe I should write them a letter. I should reach out and see if they've been thinking about me as well. And look, these are all very normal thoughts, normal urges. And this video series is called The Spiritual Perspective, which means I'm not a relationship expert. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a therapist. I'm not an expert on narcissism. I am someone who's been in the mindfulness space for about 30 years. I know I'm older than I look. And I'm going to offer the spiritual perspective on getting back with your ex. In other words, if you want to take the spiritual approach to a very common scenario like this, I'm going to show you what that looks like. So, the basis for the spiritual approach is that there is no relationship in the world that can make you happy. Full stop. From a spiritual perspective, the primary purpose of relationships is to give happiness, not to get happy. So this means if your desire to reach out to your ex is being motivated by an idea that not being with them is going to make you unhappy and being back together with them is going to potentially restore your happiness or make you happier, then from a spiritual perspective, you're experiencing self-delusion. In other words, it's the trauma or the wounds from your breakup or from past experiences or both that are motivating your desire to reach out. Now, I know that's hard to hear, right? Someone calling you delusional. Again, I've been there myself many, many times. And if you're looking at it from the inside, admittedly, it's hard to see how you're rationalizing it because you genuinely think that being back together will make you happy. But when you're looking at it from the outside and someone else's experience, it's pretty clear that the rationale to get back together is not coming from a place of inner fulfillment. It's actually coming from a place of scarcity. Let me explain. If you were truly fulfilled inside, you wouldn't be thinking about trying to get back together with your ex. Let me repeat that because I really want you to hear this. If you were truly fulfilled inside, you would not be thinking about trying to get back together with this other person. In the same way that, imagine if you started a company that was very successful and you were making millions and millions of dollars a year, and someone who was working for the company, who you really liked, decided that they no longer wanted to work for that company and that they wanted to go and work somewhere else or work for themselves. If that happens, if someone elects to miss out on making all those millions of dollars, you're not going to fight them to stay. And even after a week or two passes, you may miss them temporarily, Or more likely, you may miss their presence, but if the millions were still rolling in, even though they weren't there, you wouldn't be thinking about calling them up to see if they want to come back and work for the company. If anything, you would see their desire to move on as their loss, not yours. And you may be thinking, there are so many people who would love to work here and enjoy the abundance that working here brings. So that's what it means to come from a place of fulfillment, as opposed to a place of scarcity. If you're coming from scarcity, a part of you feels like you need them in your life in order for you to be happy or fulfilled or authentic or on your path. And from a spiritual perspective, that's not a good reason to reach out to them. Now, obviously, you can do whatever the hell you desire to do, but it's probably not going to end well. And a better use of your time and energy would be to double down on your inner work, to recommit to your inner work. Because convincing yourself that you need somebody else to be happier is a major symptom that you haven't been doing your inner work. So you want to double down on your meditation practice so that you can continue to cultivate the happiness and fulfillment within, as opposed to spending your precious time searching for happiness and fulfillment outside of yourself in old, now irrelevant relationships. Now, I want to be clear. This has nothing to do with the personality traits of the other person. They could be a wonderful person, or they could have toxic traits. It really doesn't matter, because from a spiritual perspective, you are merely in a relationship with yourself. And the other person is merely a reflection of you. So their role was to come into your life and to treat you in such a way that you would be inspired to watch a video like this and to reflect on how you ultimately want to show up for yourself and how you want to show up in the world. So the fact that you've watched this video all the way until the end means that they played their role to perfection. Now, the ball is in your court. So what are you going to do? Are you going to get on the apps and hope that you have better luck with meeting the right person the next time? Or are you going to use this experience as an opportunity to become the right person? The person who's giving the happiness in the relationship instead of looking to the other person to make them happy. The choice is yours. Does this spiritual perspective resonate? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoy hearing this perspective, please like this video, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any more, and share this spiritual perspective with someone who may find it very helpful to hear. And if you want me to share the spiritual perspective on other topics, let me know which ones you're curious about in the comments below. Peace and love.